religions have affected human beings, and today with the net, there is immense information available to you, which you have to just type out what you want, and it's available. It is not like earlier where one had to go to a library, hunt it up in books, and then realize that that's not the right book. Number of people dying in this are CRPF people, and this film will be dedicated to them. To do that role. And I would love to have Amir anywhere in the film. It would be a great help to me, and it's a great, pleasure for me to work with him. So I'm really, Amir is one person that I really admire, and I'm thankful to for helping me make the film I wanted to. So I owe that to him. I would love to work with him anytime.
Right. But do you have any your cast ready now, sir? The casting process is sorted.
No. My cast is not ready, and the thing is that with this COVID right now, things are not, one is not so secure about anything. So once we overcome this pandemic, and things become normal, and theaters will open, then only can I really say that I will step in and make a film. But otherwise, I'm ready. My subject is ready.
Right.
I know exactly what I want to do in the film.
And sir, I read a report and it said that maybe the subject is around Khalistan or something. Is it true, sir?
No, not at all. But I think in the world, because it shows how what do you call it? India is able to manage its security in spite of these problems. It's about internal security, and the people facing the brunt of it, the maximum number of people dying in this are CRPF people, and this film will be dedicated to them.
All right. So, if you would like to share with all the filmmakers and script writers who would be watching this session, that what are the precautions that they need to take uh, so that because you never know that how who and which person or which group can possibly get offended by certain things. Um, how does one tackle how does a filmmaker tackle those aspects, or is there a way to foresee anything that may possibly happen later on?
I think a writer or a director should be sensitive enough to understand a situation like this, because you place yourself in the position of those people. Ask yourself, am I going to be offended by that? And if you're honest, you will not offend anyone. But you can put across your point without being offensive.
Right. Now, so you've made very few films in your filmography. People still know about you. A lot of people, they have a lot of respect for you. When several people from within the film industry, they came to know about this session, they were very excited because they don't hear much from you, and but they have been following your work very keenly. Um, how do you keep yourself motivated, considering you've had a few films in the last 20 years that we've had? How do you keep yourself motivated? What is it that you read? What is it that you watch that keeps you focused on the road ahead?
Very much interested in the history, and I'm also very interested in uh, religious history, the evolution of religion, and how religions have affected human beings. And today with the net, there is immense information available to you, which you have to just type out what you want, and it's available. It is not like earlier where one had to go to a library, hunt it up in books, and then realize that that's not the right book. So in that sense, life is much easier, and I think this is a generation that's very fortunate that if you want to do anything, you have access. You have access to the internet. You have access to all the information that you want, and I spend most of my time in that. And I also spend my time in writing scripts. I have a problem with writing scripts in the sense, if I write a script like the first two that I've written, and once I take that criticism, I put that script aside and don't look at it. And after 5, 6 months, without looking at that last script, I start attempting to write again. So I don't go over the potholes that were there in that script. But the problem is that when you do that, you also create new potholes. You also stumble into new potholes. So it takes me, without looking back or taking anything from the last draft and starting all over again. So I have today 5 drafts of the film, and none of them are similar to the other. So when I've written 5 drafts, I thought, okay, when I'm writing the 5th draft, I realize, okay, I think I've got it this time. So you don't have to dwell on, because if you go back to your first or your second draft, then you're going back to doing the same thing that you did. How are you going to be different? How are you going to know whether you are have skipped the flaws that were there? So it's every, so this is actually the 5th script in the of Sarfarosh 2, but I'm very happy with the script because all the flaws that I saw in the first 2, 3 and what my friends pointed out to me. Also in this, I think you have to have really good friends who are critical. If you are unfortunate, which I see in a lot of people in this industry, they do not have good friends who will tell them that what you made is crap, which is very sad. I've seen big stars, show their films, and people lie to their faces. Oh, it's fantastic, fantastic, and when actually it's horrible, and there's nobody to tell them that. I have been lucky that I have, and I want to have friends who are more critical of you. If you are going to get acclaim, let the others give you acclaim, not your friends. Let your friends be critical, because then you'll be on your toes, and you will try and do and your best, which is more important.
So your film with Himesh Reshammiya got delayed quite a bit. What is it that you learned from that film?
Not to trust anyone.
In what way?
I trusted the wrong people. That was a film which was about sperm donorship, much before Vicky Donor came. And the role was such for Himesh, which was not like a hero, a typical hero, like he played, Rishi Kapoor's role in a film that he was doing, which I think was a Subhash Ghai's remake film. I forget the name. So,
Curse.
Curse. So this was not a role like that. This was the role about a common guy who donates his sperm, and he does not know that he has a daughter. And the film was pretty interesting, but I did not go the way I wanted, and I've shot only 60% of the film. They have completed it on their own, and it doesn't make any sense. So I don't want the credit for that film. I don't want that film to be ever mentioned that I made it, because it's
All
not
right.
my film.
Now, so you're from Kerala, but you have this, I think, quite a lot of fascination with Urdu poetry, I believe. Uh, where did this interest develop, sir?
I told you I had a lot of Muslim friends. I still have a lot of Muslim friends. Many of them are abroad, and I'm not so much in touch with them now, but they are in touch with me. And so, because of the company that I had in KC College, from Shafi Inamdar to a lot of people, Shafi was trained me in dramatics, in theatre. So I had a lot of Muslim friends then in college, and I still have them. So through them, I was able to, get an understanding of Urdu and appreciate it. And my wife also is you know quite a fan of Urdu poetry and ghazals. So all these factors, and your group that you sit with, and so I had writers who are like Nida Fasli, who I then used to visit constantly. So when you have the company of good writers, when Urdu poets, and go to mushairas and listen to them. I don't do so much now because all that is available. The best of lyrics and poetry is available on the net. So I don't interact and mix with so many people now, but I did then, and that really helped me to learn a little bit of Urdu, and I love it. It's a beautiful language.
Right. Sir, if you could please share your thoughts about the process of writing. What is the language that you write in first?
My thoughts come to me in Malayalam because that was the original language that I uh, that I learned. But I cannot write Malayalam. So it's a very complex process. My initial thoughts, especially if it's an emotional anything that when it comes to dialogue, that it is always in Malayalam. And then now when I write in English, but I write in English which is more like a conversation in Hindi. So I write in Hindi but in Roman. I type on the computer in Roman, but I'm writing in Hindi. अब वैसे मैं हिंदी ठीक से बोल सकता हूँ थोड़ा बहुत, इतना नहीं, कोई माहिर नहीं, लेकिन ठीक ठाक हिंदी बोल लेता हूँ.
All right, gentlemen, that brings us, unfortunately, to the end time of this session. Any closing statements by you? Any closing statements? We've unfortunately run out of time. We've had a lengthy conversation about Mr. Mathan's journey.
Okay. One last question. One last question then to sir. Sir, as a filmmaker, as a thinker as well, what do you think has been the benefit of being in a country like India, which is having so much of diversity when it comes to languages, cultures, religions, festivals? How has it impacted you, sir?
Well, I tell you, I just saw 180 films from all the regions of this country. Okay, and I agree with you totally. And this time I realize how diverse we are. How diverse we are. And that is really fantastic. That is what makes India India. Because we are such a diverse people with the freedom to express yourself and do what you want without, you have to be careful that you don't hurt somebody unnecessarily. But we are so fortunate to be in a country like India because I've traveled the world and lived in other places and it's monotonous. There's nothing in most of European countries like India is a bubbling, active democracy. It's bubbling all the time. There's temperature here. You know, it's not a cold desert where you don't have feelings. Where this is a country that you have to embrace and love for its diversity. And we thank God because the beliefs are so many that you evolve as a person. You get to see, oh, this is another religion. What do they believe in? Where are you going to get that opportunity? No other country, because most countries have one kind of religion, a majority of that. But here, within Hinduism, there's so much diversity. You know, within Hinduism, there's so much to learn from each particular community. Whether it is Bengali or Tamil or Gujarati, they are very, very diverse. And I am fortunately married to a Gujarati, so I'm being a South Indian. I understand now Gujarati and I can speak Gujarati too to a certain extent. But this diversity is something that you have to experience to love. You will love it because it's so diverse and so beautiful.
All right, sir.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us.
It has been a
Faridun.
pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.